From AM 1680, The Answer, this is Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza, the behind-the-scenes story of the business shakers and movers in the Valley and beyond. And now, here's your host, Lance Cardoza.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Business Leaders Live right here on AM 1680, The Answer. This is a big show. I'm really excited about that. We bring business leaders on every week, and we celebrate the wins of business people and the blood, sweat, and tears that they put into their own personal lives and their business. And we share their story to help motivate others in business. And maybe just before I came on live, we were talking about maybe it's a correctional officer and he or she are hustling in their day-to-day, and they get to a point to where they've made their bones, they've done great, they retire, and now they want to create, and they want to do something for the legacy of their family and create some type of business or step out there as an entrepreneur. So the stories of business leaders are to help motivate business people in their day-to-day grind, and also the ones that want to dream a little bit, or maybe they have that dream in the box and they want to break that dream outside of the box. Today's show is special because right here on AM 1680, The Answer, and also Big Al Entertainment, I have Al Perez Sr. in studio. He is the owner of AM 1680, The Answer. And Al, you don't do this every day on the radio.
No, I don't. Normally, I'm just behind the scenes paying the bills and running around here with a baseball cap.
Aren't we all business owners? We're the guys that just pay the bills.
Pretty much.
We pay the bills. We stay up late at night with that notepad by the bed, just thinking of ideas and what to do next.
That's right.
And so, Al, you and we met. I went on Richard Ortiz's show. On the weekend, he has the Fighter's Voice.
That's correct.
And I own a company called Lucha Extreme. It's Lucha Libre Professional Wrestling. I've been in that business for 20 years, and I have a television show on KAIL every week, Saturday mornings, 11 a.m., a little plug there for Lucha Extreme. But I go on his show, and I interviewed Richard, had a great time, and had a lot of stories to tell about the business of pro wrestling and Lucha Libre. And from there, I think that's how you heard about Lance.
That's
Cardoza.
correct.
You talked to your son, Al Jr., Main Event Graphics, and said, hey, do you know this guy? And then we get connected, and felt like I've known you for years now.
Yeah.
You know, as you talked to me and talked me into doing something here on AM 1680, The Answer. And originally it was about Lucha, and I have, as you found out, I have a connection to a lot of business people with our 40 Under 40 event, a lot of young business people that are the new up-and-coming people here in the Valley, and business people throughout Central Valley and abroad. And like I said, just knowing you a little bit of time and working with you in the boxing, even with your boxing promotion, felt like I've known you for years. And you know a lot of business people here in town, too, as we know them from two different sides.
Yeah. You know, first of all, I want to thank you for really just producing and doing a great show. I think the Business Leaders Live has been a great addition, you know, to our radio station. It's opened up a lot of opportunities for your radio interviews, for people to come in, tell their story. I think that's important. I think it's important that we have that communication with the community so that people can tell their business stories, their personal stories, and, you know, how they got to where they are. And I really feel good about the show. I'm glad that we had the opportunity to meet and cross paths, and then this developed from that. So it's awesome. Yes,
and I'm very, very humble that you're doing my show. Like you said, you don't do this. You don't go on to your own radio program, and I can understand why. I'd be in the background too, pulling the strings, which I often do, and other stuff that I do. So I'm very humbled to have you on my show, and thank you so much. But Al, just to tell people, so Al Perez Sr., the owner of AM 1680, The Answer, it was a long road before you came to where you are today, and producing radio and doing that for the community. Where did you get your start? So Fresno, homegrown, from Fresno, or where did you come from?
No, actually, I was born in San Jose, California.
San Jose, okay.
Yeah, and but my grandparents, and on both sides, my dad and my mom's side, started all in Madera, California.
Okay.
And so basically my grandfather was a contractor, you know, basically taking people out to work in the fields, and my mom's side was pretty much they were, you know, field workers, and they picked the grapes and almonds and everything else that was here. And I often tell the story about that when my mom's was ready to give birth to me, she was picking prunes in San Jose on her knees, and I just wanted to come out.
You wanted to come out, her water broke.
The water broke. It's time to go to the hospital.
It's time to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
And she was down there working.
Yeah, and so the bottom line is that I come from very humble beginnings.
Yeah.
And
as a young guy, you were out there in the fields too, helping family.
Yeah. I didn't spend a lot of time at that because I wasn't very good at it, and I figured that wasn't my forte.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of kind of, I guess, entrepreneurial things as a young kid, collect bottles in Columbia Street in Madera when I'd visit my grandparents and take it to the corner grocery store and get enough money to go, buy some candy or whatever. And so, I figured making a buck was easy in San Jose, California. I would basically get on my bicycle and take off and go shine shoes. I was probably 9, 10 years old.
Little shoe shine box.
Yeah, little shoe shine box. And I've always, I guess God's giving me that gift of being able to get up and hustle, and do things. And so that's, I had a mom that had a really strong work ethic that worked, a couple jobs in order to keep everything going, and it wasn't easy. It was single family type situation with a mom raising us, and but
how many kids altogether?
Just my sister and I.
Okay, 2 kids. Okay.
Yeah, and loving grandparents in between there, babysitting and things like that. So you don't realize when you're young that things are hard. It's just a part of life. You do what you do, and that's it. So it's been an interesting road. And I'm grateful for the, I guess, the life experience of that, because it makes you appreciate, where you came from and, where you are. And when things get tough, all you got to do is look back and go, wow, okay, I survived that. I'm good.
Yeah, I can get through this
through this next phase. Yeah. And so, life's a journey. So, I'm a man of faith. And so... I've got blessed with a beautiful wife, and she's a woman of faith that has kept me anchored, and so it's all good.
And I've heard you say through time, I've heard grandkids.
That's right.
And I know that's
eight grandchildren.
Wow.
And one coming in June, so it'll be 9.
You'll have 9 coming.
Yeah.
So you have the 9th on the way.
That's right.
And they've got to be everything to you.
I'm fortunate because they're all with 8 of them are all within a 4-mile radius of where we live, and so I see them regularly. We take care of them, and so it's a huge blessing to have them because they're not across United States or anything like that.
Yeah, you got families all over the
place.
Yeah.
And Al Jr. has 6, so
he's 6 of the soon to be 9.
Yeah,
he's 6 of those.
Yeah, he's 6 of those.
Al's a busy guy.
yeah, he is.
He's another guy. I think probably cut his teeth on watching his father, watching you hustle and get things done, and then wake up and look for that new opportunity. Your son's sort of that same type, cut from that same cloth.
Yeah, I'd say that Al Jr. definitely has that part of being motivated. I remember I was impressed one day when he said, "Hey, Dad, I'm sitting, they're in a Suburban, they're driving." He says, and I just look back and I see all these little eyes that are depending on me. And, so he's a great family man. And I mean, he works hard. I mean, this guy's, 16, 18 hours a day. It's amazing. And then football on the weekend and
boxing. So he has a boxing gym.
Yeah, boxing gym, and
so
he's definitely has a lot of energy, and is a good husband, good provider for his family.
So great. So then, what brings you? You're Madera. Then you migrate over to Fresno.
Actually, Madera, and then. Ended up, are you referring to when I was younger? Or?
Yeah, because you were in San Jose, that brought you out here to the Valley.
Yeah, brought out here in the Valley spent a lot of summers here, and went to school in Madera, and then ended up back in San Jose, and pretty much stayed there up until I got hired by Coors Brewing Company.
So then Coors Brewing Company brings you out to the San Joaquin Valley. Well, and you're working out?
Yeah, actually what happened was I spent 3 years in Golden, Colorado for the brewery, and I was in charge of national promotions all over the United States for the Hispanic market.
Okay.
And then a regional position came, and it was just too difficult to be traveling all the time. And my wife was at home, and we had a young son. And so an opportunity came up in the Fresno, either San Jose or Stockton area. Mm-hmm. And we had a vice president back then named Swede Johnson. And Lou Amendola, who's the owner of Valley Wide Beverage, lobbied pretty heavy to get me out here in the Valley. And so I ended up here. So, I would say I'm here, Lou. I'm Lou because of you. And
so we'll be right back with more Business Leaders Live. I'm sitting here with Al Perez Sr., owner of AM 1680 The Answer, also Big Al Entertainment. So you start in promotions with a Coors company. When we come back, we'll talk a little more about that and what led to the promotion side of Al Perez Sr. We'll be right back.
By popular demand.
The long and the short of it is this.
Because you've asked for it.
Bob Corker is just doing the bidding of the resistance.
The Laura Ingraham Show is back on AM 1680, The Answer.
Clintons and the Obamas. The resistance resides among the Bushes.
Listen to America's #1 female conservative talk show host, Laura Ingraham. Weekdays, noon to 3.
AM 1680, The Answer.
Do you believe that kids today need a caring adult in their lives? Hi, this is Ed Kazmarek with Fresno Madera Youth for Christ. We believe kids need more than that. It takes at least 7 caring adults, a parent, a coach, a pastor, a YFC mentor, to help kids along the difficult journey of being a teenager. Life can be overwhelming. The Youth for Christ team serves at over 35 ministry sites across Fresno and Madera counties, bringing the good news of hope in Jesus Christ. Support Youth for Christ. Visit yfcnow.org today.
Credit products are made by WebBank. Amazon is not a sponsor of this promotion. Other restrictions apply. See website for details.
I was making great progress on building my savings, but then I got hit with an unexpected car repair bill.
Keeping a close eye on my credit score allowed me to buy my first house, but an unexpected medical emergency set me back.
When the unexpected happened, Avant was there to help. If you need to borrow $2,000 to $35,000, try Avant. It's fast, simple, and transparent.
Everything is done online. There are no prepayment fees, and no collateral is required. And you can instantly check your rate with no impact to your credit score.
Over 500,000 customers have experienced the convenience of a loan through Avant. No wonder Avant has an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. And now, Avant will give you a $50 Amazon.com gift card after your first payment is made on time. To check your rates and to get this special radio offer, go to Avant.com today and enter promo code 8000 when applying. That's AVANT.com, promo code 8000. Go to Avant.com today and enter promo code 8000.
Driving is unpredictable. Just take it from Carrie. Please don't do this to me. Oh, or Peter.
Go around me, please. Yeah, happy holidays to you too.
Or this family trying to get to Grandma's in time for dinner.
Whoa, what was that?
Oh.
This is Hum. How can I help you?
Oh, hi. We have a flat. Any chance you could send someone out to help?
We have your location and we'll send help your way.
With all the uncertainties on the road, it's nice to know there's Hum by Verizon. Hum is the connected car system that assists and empowers drivers, so you can stay on top of your car's health and get help when trouble arises. It's a smart way to stay informed about your car and keep your family safer on the road. This holiday season, get Hum and get where you're going. Visit hum.com or your local Verizon store for special holiday savings.
One name, 9 locations, the lowest prices anywhere in the Valley, with the highest quality furniture. It's Serrano's Furniture. The Serrano's Furniture Galleries are family-owned and operated right here in Central California for over 30 years, giving you top-name brands like Legacy, Parker House, and Klausner. The best prices on America's #1 rated mattresses like Serta, Simmons, and the iComfort Sleep System. Before you buy your furniture online, which comes to your home unassembled, visit a Serrano's Furniture Gallery near you. Serrano strives to give you exceptional customer service as well as giving you the best price and best value. Serrano's Furniture in Fresno, Visalia, Hanford, Porterville, Madera, Tulare, Bakersfield, Delano, and Dinuba. This is the big one, the largest furniture retailer in the Valley, Serrano's. For monthly specials, visit serranosfurnituregalleries.com. Giving you the inside story of business leaders in the Valley and beyond. This is Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza.
I'm here with Al Perez Sr., the owner of AM 1680 The Answer. After hearing that commercial from Serrano's Furniture, I just want to run out and go get something.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm all fired up.
Yeah, that's another business that you need to get on. That's a great story, family business.
Great family business. We need to get them in here. That would be great with Serrano's Furniture.
Yeah.
I know they're all over the
all
Valley.
Over the place.
They're everywhere. Before we went to commercial break, I was talking to Al Perez Sr. We were talking about your upbringing. So your upbringing, and it taught you to be a hard worker, and it really told you that you didn't want to work in the fields.
That's right.
You weren't good at that.
No.
and you had a very the work ethic from your mother. You mentioned that you saw that every day. That molded probably who you are today, which has bled over to your son, Al Jr., and what he does for his family too. And so you go to Coors, and you're working for Coors Brewing Company. You're traveling all over the world. You're doing promotions. And talk a little bit about that. It's for sure an educational process to something new in your life at that time.
Well, I was probably a little bit. You talk about corporate culture shock.
Yeah,
because I never thought jobs like that existed. Where they would fly all over the United States and give you a credit card and. Basically had the opportunity to meet, just tons of people all over the United States. And so it was eye-opening, and just observing, corporate structure on how they tick, from the brand groups, developing creative for radio, television campaigns, and just the execution of that, and the media buying and all that. I mean, it was tremendous. It was an education that you don't get anywhere. And at the time, it was an era where Coors was dealing with, some image problems, and so a lot of us were first generation Hispanic, I'm Mexican American, corporate. And so, a lot of us, we're all in the same boat. We're like in this big old corporate pot, and we're like, okay,
you were thrusted into this thing you never knew existed.
Yeah. And so, you'd meet somebody else, and you had a lot in common, and you'd, talk it through. Well, now things are different, but we were kind of, a lot of us were the trailblazers there in corporate America, and getting in on that first phase, and so. And the Coors Brewing Company was great to me. The company was awesome, and I established a lot of friendships all over the United States, not just with promotional aspects of it, but also with the distributor network all over the United States. And
so connections all over the country.
Yeah, pretty much.
And from outside Coors too, because with promotions you dealt with third-party promoters working with the beer brand.
Correct. We did a lot of event marketing all over the United States. We supported Calle Ocho, which is one of the largest festivals in Miami. We had events, San Jose, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, large festivals, a couple 100,000 people. And basically we were, doing the sponsorship of that. And then we, there was also a nice component, community aspect of it, where there was, a literacy program, and giving people donations and organizations that needed it at the time, and then there was the fun part. We had the opportunity to bring in people like Jim Plunkett at the end of his career,
quarterback from the Raiders, played for the 49ers and then the Raiders.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I get a call one day from Wayne Hooper, which was Jim's very close friend, kind of a father figure to him, which was his attorney, and said, hey, I understand Tom Flores has a distributorship in Southern California. Jim wants to know how he can purchase a distributorship in
and Flores
somewhere.
Was the coach of the Raiders.
Flores was the coach, exactly.
Yeah.
And so next thing, I know I go up to the sales department. I say, hey, we have an opportunity. Plunkett's looking for a distributorship. Are there any? And I can't exactly say the words of Joe Thompson, but he was pretty excited, and you said, heck yeah, let's. Who do we talk to? And about a year later, Jim ends up with a distributorship with the Klein family in Stockton, California, and so he pretty much solidified his retirement with that opportunity, and it was great. Jim was great to work with, and he would do a lot of community stuff with us, and so that was the Jim Plunkett story.
The Jim Plunkett story,
yeah.
And Jim's a great guy. I've got to meet him when I worked with the Raiders for the stint, and so very community involved too.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
So you worked with him, and you worked with probably many talents all over the country, because a lot of those were concerts and sporting events and everything you can think of, and the nonprofit component to all those. Most of those major league and professional concerts and stuff have some type of nonprofit component. So you worked with a lot of the
right.
nonprofits too as well.
Yeah, a lot of nonprofits nationally and regionally. The Chamber of Commerce and a lot of organizations that were both small and large.
Yeah,
and it's interesting though that I also worked a lot with musical talent.
Yeah.
Through direct endorsements. We had the musical group War signed directly to our department back then.
Okay.
We worked a lot with recording companies, record companies, and securing tours of key artists. And so it was a lot to it. I think that we ended up at the time probably just really going where Coors Brewing Company had never been.
Yeah.
When it came to getting into both community and special events.
So being this was new in this whole corporate structure and doing this and developing this with your team, what was the biggest lesson personally for Al Perez Sr.? What was the biggest life lesson without just getting the education of it all, but what was the biggest life lesson that you took from doing that and traveling the country and working with the promotions with them?
Well, the life lesson was really, I think I was in awe and appreciated it so much. And I just was, I worked. I worked hard all the time I was on. It was almost like being in your own business because I just enjoyed, that time of my life and that opportunity that I had. And I realized that not. The life lesson was not everybody had that opportunity to have a position like that, where you're involved with the marketing of a major corporation. Yeah. And so it was a life experience, and I didn't take it for granted.
You almost feel like you're being paid to go to school.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're learning every day.
Yeah. And there were two people that I'll get into that were mentors in my life. That one I had met prior to joining Coors, and the other one I had met while I was with Coors, and one of them ended up being my partner in the radio station.
Yeah, so we'll get into that. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with more Business Leaders Live. I'm sitting here with Al Perez Sr. in Studio A here at AM 1680 The Answer. You can catch past episodes of Business Leaders Live at lancecardoza.com. And you can catch up on all the ones that you have missed and the ones that you want to go back and listen to again, like this one with Al Perez Sr. When we come back, we'll talk about the future where the radio station is and also the promotions with Al Perez.
Tune in this Wednesday from 9 to 10 a.m. to Frontline Radio with Ben Berquam, your unashamed, unafraid political evangelist, exposing the left and mobilizing the right to stand in the Central Valley, across the state of California, and around the country. Christ, family, country. It's live, it's local, it's Frontline Radio with Ben Berquam on AM 1680, The Answer. Brought to you in part by Joe Sears, standing up for what's right in America.
This is Don Escus, CEO of the Fresno Rescue Mission, letting you know that we're still here. While our downtown facility is making way for high-speed rail, we remain open 24/7. But rest assured, we will never miss a beat. Our services and programs will continue to function, never closing for even one day. That's why we need your help.
The Fresno Rescue Mission is dedicated in helping hurting and homeless people in our community. From meals to 24-hour emergency services to long-term programs, the Fresno Rescue Mission is committed to helping individuals escape their current situation.
We want you to know that 100% of your tax-deductible donations will continue to support the services we provide to the community. And at no time will the precious donations we receive be used in this reconstruction process.
To learn more about the life-changing programs and services the mission offers, call 268-0839. That's 268-0839. Or go online to fresnorm.org.
Right to Life of Central California is a regional, pro-life education and outreach organization serving Fresno and Madera counties. Our mission is to engage our community through pro-life educational presentations at schools and churches, equip advocates to defend the sanctity of all human life, and embrace individuals facing an unplanned pregnancy and those hurt by abortion. For more educational resources and information about speaking engagements, please visit us at righttolifeca.org, look us up on Facebook, or call us at 559-229-2229.
What makes one business rise above? Why do some grow while others simply maintain? Time after time, consistently successful businesses work smart. And when smart businesses need to hire, they do it on the job site that is the proven leader, Indeed.com. According to an independent study, Indeed delivers 5 times more hires than any other job site. More hires than the rest combined. Businesses that work smart choose partners that have proven track records. It's no wonder that 3 million businesses choose Indeed. To make it even better, right now we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job, boosting your listing in relevant search results and helping you find qualified candidates faster. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. That's Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site for smart companies like yours. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Driving is unpredictable. Just take it from Carrie.
Please don't do this to me.
Oh, or Peter.
Go around me, please. Yeah, happy holidays to you too.
Or this family trying to get to Grandma's in time for dinner.
Whoa, what was that?
Oh.
This is Hum. How can I help you?
Oh, hi. We have a flat. Any chance you could send someone out to help?
We have your location and we'll send help your way.
With all the uncertainties on the road, it's nice to know there's Hum by Verizon. Hum is the connected car system that assists and empowers drivers, so you can stay on top of your car's health and get help when trouble arises. It's a smart way to stay informed about your car and keep your family safer on the road. This holiday season, get Hum and get where you're going. Visit hum.com or your local Verizon store for special holiday savings.
You are listening to Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza, the behind-the-scenes story of the business shakers and movers in the Valley and beyond. Once again, here's Lance Cardoza.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back in studio. Al Perez Sr., the owner of AM 1680 The Answer. Also, Big Al Entertainment. And I've worked with Al doing some boxing events here in town. And Al, so far, great story. I mean, from humble upbringing and everything you did with the course company. Before we went to commercial break, we were talking about mentors. And mentors are so important. And someone that gave you a little guidance and was in your life. And you mentioned there was 2.
Yeah, that's right.
There was 2. There was one that's a radio partner today, and also there was one in the course company that you worked with, the promotions.
Yeah, actually, one of them, when I was about 23 years old, he was the owner of Radio Casa, KZA, in San Jose, California. His name was Alberto Rodriguez. And I called him because I wanted to pick his brain about to do promotions, because he was the guy that did all the big concerts and everything in San Jose. And so I remember talking to his general manager. Said, you don't need to talk to me. You need to talk to Alberto Rodriguez, and this is his number. So I called him, and that conversation ended up being a couple hours. And then I met him personally, and I was flattered. I was a young man. I was 23 years old, and this guy owned a radio station.
But you weren't afraid. You picked up the phone and you called him.
No, yeah.
He probably appreciated that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when I joined Coors, he was one of the first guys I called.
Yeah.
And I said, "Hey, Al, I'm with Coors Brewing Company now, and I know you do a lot of events up and down the state of California. I want to fly down to see you, and let's do business together." Wow. And so that started he basically opened up a lot of doors for Coors Brewing Company where they had never been. And I just felt like, this guy took time with me, and I know I can trust him. I'm going to go back and talk to him. And so that established a long life, friendship with him, and unfortunately ended up passing away of prostate cancer. Wow. And it was just great memories, great opportunity. And the second guy, when I was actually working with Coors Brewing Company, I met a gentleman named Knox LaRue over the phone, and he was relentless. He was always calling me looking for budgets, and he had a real deep voice.
You know those corporate guys.
Yeah. And he would say, "Got any budget left over?" And so I'd say, "Yeah, what do you want, Knox? What do you need?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Well, I'm doing this, and that." And I said, "Okay, let me talk to the distributorship and let's see what we could work out." And so I never even had met this guy. It was just all over the phone. And we had an opportunity to put an event together, very similar to what I did with John Alkire at the Tulare Fair, where Coors would fund it, and I'd go in there and find the people to organize it and execute it. But we did it at the Contra Costa County Fair.
And John Alkire, for the listeners that listen, is the CEO of the Big Fresno Fair,
that's
one
right.
of the best fair managers in the business today.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and so in fact that's how I met John was through back in the Coors days.
Yeah.
And but anyway, getting back to Knox, I had already left National, and I'd taken the region over here, Northern California, and so I was out scouting radio stations in the Bay Area, and all the ones that were calling were like a ton of money, and I'm like, golly. And so I would go into places and say, "What are you listening to?" We listen to La Poderosa. We listen to 107.3. Well, it didn't dawn on me, but that was Knox's station.
Oh.
And so I ended up calling Knox and saying, "Hey, Knox, your station has got a great signal out here. Can we do this promotion together?" And I'll never forget what he says. He says, "Yes, and you don't need any other station but mine."
He's strong-arming you.
That's right.
Yeah.
And he was right, because it had such a great signal, and his price point was so good. I didn't tell him this, but I thought, heck, you're a cheap date,
Yeah.
And so we ended up.
It was a good relationship, and it worked together for both parties.
Yeah, and so he came to the event, and I was there after we put it all together, and that's the first time I met him. I, had conversations with him for a couple of years when I was national.
Yeah.
And so that ended up being another relationship that we kept for years. And I started noticing when I was out in the region here that Coors was really starting to cut back their budgets a little bit, and just typical corporate America. That's what it's standard procedure. And the sales department was asking me if I wanted to go to Texas or I wanted to go to another area, and my wife was at Fresno State, because we're here now in Fresno, we're not in Golden.
Yeah.
And so, I just thought, I don't want to be traveling like this. I don't want to be shipped all over the United States anymore. It's time that I find something to do. And so, ironically, Dan Crowdy, who used to be with Lotus.
But Lotus, Dan. I had met Dan. He was out of Phoenix at one point.
Correct.
And
then he came and ran this operation for a lot of years. And so I was telling Danny, I want to buy a radio station. If you see anything, I don't know exactly what I'm doing here, but I'm giving it a shot. And I remember Al was still alive, and I was talking to Al and getting advice, and he told me about an FM out in South Valley. Hey, there's an FM over there, and why don't you go over there and take a look at this? And so I get a call from Knox, and I'm saying, Knox, I want to buy this FM over here, and but I need about 20% more of the tower. It's got 80% of it. And I know you have a bunch of towers laying around in your ground because he was just a collector of everything.
Yeah. He was ready to take over the world.
That's right. And so he says, yeah, well, let's talk about what's the FM, what's the deal on it. And so to make a long story short, I had said, well, I'll buy that tower from you if I buy this and so forth. And I get a call from him. He says, Al, come and see me. I want to talk to you.
Yeah.
And he pretty much said, hey, if you want to get into radio, why don't you consider us, partnering up and doing something together. And ironically, he's the older brother of the former judge Annette LaRue here.
Okay.
And
yes.
So, yeah.
Very famous judge here in town.
And so that's how my intro into radio happened, and I'll tell you after about the story about what happened to Knox and where that
led to.
Yeah,
we're going to take a short break. You're listening to the Business Leaders Live. I'm sitting here with the owner of AM 1680, The Answer, Al Perez Sr. We're going to get also into Big Al Entertainment when we come back right here on AM 1680, The Answer.
A little smarter.
What you've been talking about rings rife through this area.
And a lot more informed.
I'm a black man in America. I'm a survivor.
It's Jim Franklin Live.
Just wanted to say I like your show, dude.
Weekday mornings at 8 on AM 1680, The Answer. Get it out your mouth. Get it off your chest.
Russian allegations. Being politically correct.
Jim Franklin Live.
Scandals over the White House.
Weekday mornings at 8 on AM 1680.
The Answer. This is Dennis Prager, and you know about my love for the people and the country of Israel. I have an acquaintance in the Central Valley who may well rival me in his love and commitment to Israel, while his more than 80 times in the land well outnumbers the number of my own visits. I'm speaking about retired Marine Corps Colonel John Somerville. John leads groups to Israel on a regular basis, and they are not just run-of-the-mill trips. They are certainly biblically based, but John makes sure you meet with and learn from Israeli soldiers, ambassadors, all sorts of Jews, and just plain Israeli citizens. The next two tours are in January and March. John has been on the station on Saturdays and Sundays with Israel in the bullseye for many years. Call him at 559-877-2882 for the finest in travel and learning in Israel. 559-877-2882. 559-877-2882 for the finest in travel and learning in Israel.
Hi, it's David Wilson, host of Grape Encounters Radio. Last year, I made a prediction that shocked my colleagues. I predicted that the Cardella Winery in Mendota, California would become one of America's most beloved boutique wine producers. Now, Grape Encounters is heard coast to coast, so when you tell listeners that they'll absolutely go crazy for virtually any of the wines produced by a winery that's off nearly everyone's radar, you had better get it right. Today, Cardella Winery has amassed a truly impressive collection of gold and silver medals from some of America's most prestigious competitions. Listeners from around the country are raving about their Cardella purchases, and face it, it feels great to say, I told you so. If you're anywhere in the Central Valley, visit the winery ASAP. The grounds are absolutely spectacular, just like the Cardella wines. You can see the winery, get directions, and even buy online at cardellawinery.com. That's cardellawinery.com.
There are thousands of different rules in the Social Security Handbook. Are you confident that you know the right ones that apply to you? The wrong decision could be costing you hundreds of thousands of dollars. At Financial Engines, we believe there's no one-size-fits-all answer to claiming Social Security benefits, and that it's important to work with an advisor to understand the pros and cons of delaying benefits and how to avoid the hidden traps that could reduce them. As America's largest independent investment advisor, according to Investment News, Financial Engines offers help to more than 9 million people. We provide objective, personal, and comprehensive planning advice. Get to financialengines.com. We'll connect you with an expert financial advisor in your area who will help create a retirement and Social Security benefits plan so you don't risk leaving anything on the table. So, financialengines.com, Get started today.
This is John Sayers with Financial Engines in Fresno and Visalia. Let's talk about the financial goals that are important to you, and together we'll develop a plan to help make them happen. Call me at 559-434-9800 or visit financialengines.com.
Results may vary, not a solicitation for legal services. If you owe the IRS back taxes, payroll taxes, or have not filed your returns, the IRS will get you. They can take your property, take you to court, even put you in jail. With one call to Wall, you'll never need to talk to the IRS again. Our average client settles for about 10% of what is owed. We offer free face-to-face consultations in your local area. Call 800-727-0433. That's 800-727-0433.
Giving you the inside story of business leaders in the Valley and beyond. This is Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza.
We're back with Business Leaders Live in studio with Al Perez Sr., the owner of AM 1680 The Answer. Al, we're telling your story and all the characters in your life that played an important role in Knox. So you get into the radio business, and Knox, one of the guys you worked with promotions, he says, team up with me in the radio business.
Team up with me, and it didn't take me too long to say, hey, yeah, that makes sense. He's a man that understands how to run a business. And so I left Coors Brewing Company, and we ended up buying 4 radio stations together. And we, before he passed away, he had a brain tumor. We sold an FM, and then that left us with 3 AMs. And the family, Nat and Robert LaRue, and were very gracious at that point, and gave me the opportunity to buy controlling interest of the radio station. And but it wasn't for Knox. I mean, I learned day to day, and being frugal, and I could get into a lot of stories about that. And we were talking.
You were
a little
talking
bit about
during the commercial about even envelopes. He'd send you back the used envelopes.
The used envelopes, so we wouldn't buy any new ones. And so it was a lesson, But he lived during the Depression, so he understand about how the economy could sway.
Yeah.
And anyway, then that led to years down the road, me partnering with Jim Franklin on this station, and that's been a huge blessing, having Jim Franklin as my partner, and so that's where we're at.
Where you are, and so radio station and the years of working with Coors and promotions, you decide to start Big Al Entertainment, and from that, or were you doing Big Al Entertainment before?
No, I had been doing Conscious for many years.
Many years,
yeah.
Yes.
And so I had some health issues, and so I kind of backed off for 5 years and didn't do anything. And my son, as you know, he started getting into the boxing really by accident. He had a friend of his that brought a gym over for amateurs. He didn't have a place to go to his building, and a lot of these kids ended up turning pro.
Yeah.
And so he ended up being their manager.
Yeah. And these are some kids that had no focus and on the street, and trying to find something.
Yeah, and these are kids that, he had a heart for, and said, better here with me than, out in the street. And so it developed into something that he didn't think was going to happen. I don't think that he had that in vision. Well, he ends up having a couple kids signed to Top Rank, and then him and Abel and Andrew, my sons, start lobbying me to, hey, Dad, go get your license, go get your California State Athletic license to be a promoter, and you got experience, and we'll help you, and that kind of thing, and so after a lot of thought, I ended up going in, and it's been an interesting ride. It's very similar to the music business, but you're dealing with individuals, not groups of musicians, and
so there's several mouths to feed.
Exactly,
yeah.
And it's a dangerous sport, and really Fresno for a long time has been the grounds for the B-side opponents. There's A-side, which is the favorite, and the B-side, and so a lot of these kids ended up going to LA with the great visions and of being a professional boxer and having success, only to find out that they were being used in order to be opponents by being overmatched.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to change that dynamic. We're taking kids that are coming out of the amateurs now and doing pro debuts with them, where their dad's involved, maybe their trainer, and trying to protect them from really the ugly side of the business.
Yeah. And sometimes being thrown to the wolves.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
And this way, giving them an opportunity to truly grow as a boxer.
That's right.
And if anybody meets Al Perez Sr., a handshake and your word is your bond, and that's what I love about you as a person. And in that business of boxing, that's tough to find. That's very tough. It's a dog-eat-dog world. And you really are looking to help that fighter and better their career.
That's right. You know, the business of boxing is somewhat challenging in that area.
Yeah.
And because sometimes you're dealing with people with not the best intentions or agendas. Yeah. But we want to be forthright and upfront with the people that we work with and protect them the most that you can. Not much you can do when they're in the ring by themselves, but you can with an opponent. But you can at least give them an opportunity without taking advantage of them, and give them confidence that really you have their back.
So when's the next big fight? Because you truly see good matchmaking, and you see some great fights. If you're a boxing fan or you're a fan to come out and experience boxing, this is the place you want to do that. When's your next big event?
We're going in March 24th at the Tower Theater. Tower Theater, it's the first time that the Tower has ever done professional fights, and Lawrence over there is very excited to have us there, and I'm excited. It's right down the street from the radio station. It's convenient.
Beautiful place.
And I think it's going to be a great venue where we'll be doing a lot of pro debuts with kids from the Valley here, and we have a relationship with Top Rank, where Top Rank will be providing a couple of their fighters. One is Isidro Ochoa. And so we're going to work together and do the best that we can.
Perfect. And I'm sure your family has been excited about you jumping in and becoming a promoter and being able to do this. And a lot of the kids coming from Al Jr.'s place have an opportunity to get on a card and
absolutely. The boys are excited. The wife wasn't.
Yeah, I know how that goes.
but she's okay now.
Now it's starting to come around.
That's right.
She started to come around.
That's right. But we have a lot of talent in the Valley here, and these kids deserve an opportunity. One of the kids that will be on this pro debut, his name is Evan and Sanchez, and he has 135 amateur fights.
Wow.
25 losses out of those. 6 foot, 147 pounder. And great kid, great family, and so we'll be able to be the springboard for some of those
young kids.
Guys,
you'll be able to see some great fights. It's going to be at Tower Theater. We have one more segment here on Business Leaders Live, but I always do this with all of our guests with Business Leaders Live. We ask them to, when we come back on this final segment, to share something in your life or something that you. Maybe someone that knows Al doesn't know this about Al. Something you can share with someone to maybe inspire them or create a connection with you that maybe they have something in common. So when we return here on Business Leaders Live, we'll hear that from Al Perez Sr. right here on AM 1680, The Answer.
Hello, baby. By popular demand, Dick Delgado's Rhythm Roundup Oldies Show is moving to Sundays from 3 to 5 p.m. All your favorites from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. 2 full hours of the perfect cruising music to wrap up your weekend with the legendary Richard the Lion, Dick Delgado. So grab your hula hoop and slick back your hair for this sentimental trip through the valley. The Rhythm Roundup with Dick Delgado. Sundays 3 to 5 on AM 1680, The Answer.
Stuff. We've all got it. But here's the thing about stuff. We tend to lose it. Wouldn't it be great if there's a little thing called Tile that helps you find your stuff? With a tap on your phone. Hey, there's my keys, or bike, or stuffed Panda Ernie. But what if Tile was more than that? What if Tile was an entire community of people coming together to turn lost stuff into found stuff? Wouldn't that be great?
Visit Tile.com to join a world where everyone can find everything that matters. Tile. Together we find.
You're part of a growing business. You need to hire, but not just any candidates. You need the right candidates. You need powerful tools to find the right fit for the job, and you need tools that are easy to use. That's where Indeed.com comes in. Indeed's advanced algorithm uses the specific details from your job listing to position your job post where more relevant candidates will find it. The right candidates. Screener questions help you zero in on the best talent, while sort and filter tools keep your recruitment organized. It's no surprise an independent study shows there are 5 times more hires made through Indeed than any other job site, more hires than the rest combined. And right now we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job, boosting your listing in relevant search results and helping you find qualified candidates faster. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. That's Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza, the behind-the-scenes story of the business shakers and movers in the Valley and beyond. Once again, here's Lance Cardoza.
Hey, Big Al Entertainment, we were talking about AM 1680, The Answer, Big Al Entertainment, Al Perez Sr. this hour with me. Again, very humble that you come on the show to talk about your career and everything that you're doing in business, Al. But something before we went to break, it was something that maybe someone doesn't know about you that you might want to share.
Well, 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with hepatitis C. Okay. And just caused a whole bunch of health issues, and it was basically undetected, for many years. And unfortunately, a lot of the baby boomers have this, bloodborne disease, and the way you can get it is, the assumption is that it was drug abuse or something like that. It could be a blood transfusion.
Yeah,
it could be a tattoo. I look at all these young people that are putting tattoos on now, and it basically attacks your liver. That's what it does. You don't have to drink or do anything. That will create cirrhosis.
Yeah,
and so
it took you down pretty bad.
Oh yeah, it took me down, and so you imagine trying to run a business and dealing with the fatigue of that whole deal. But I did get cured, and there's a lot of treatments out there now that weren't available, and so now leading into the fight on March 24th, our whole theme is going to be the fight against hepatitis C and fatty liver, and bringing awareness and testing at the events that we do, because if there's just one person can find out ahead of time, they don't have to really
be hit with it later in life.
And the potential of having liver cancer or cirrhosis or liver transplant, and so that's kind of our mission as part of these fights is bringing that awareness to the community in Fresno and abroad.
Yeah. Well, you're a great guy, Al. Thank you so much for being on here. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to have Business Leaders Live with Lance Cardoza every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. It's a fun ride. I love bringing on different business leaders and telling their stories. So thank you so much for being on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you, Lance.
We'll talk to you next week right here on AM 1680, The Answer at 9 a.m.